Hey, a good, well, I guess it's morning. Yeah, it's morning here. It's morning there. A good Monday morning to you here from lunch with Claibs and Joe on claibsonline.com. I'm Joe Roderick, joined alongside by Mike Claiborne, and we are powered by Ameren, Illinois, driven by Munganess St. Louis Acura, and sponsored by Ryan Kelly, the home loan expert. Find him online at thehomeloanexpert.com. Claibs, you just got back from the road, and now I'm on the road.
Yeah, we kind of been moving around a little bit, and that's a good thing. You're seeing Colorado, and I was just out there about 2 weeks ago, and it's one of my favorite cities for a lot of different reasons. But with the All Star Game being there, I'm sure it'll be quite festive. The neat thing I like about that area is, they've got all those restaurants and other places near the ballpark. Everything's within walking distance, so it should be a good time. The weather's supposed to be good, and we'll see how things go.
Yeah, I just went up to Red Rocks this morning, got my workout in up there, and then here in about, I guess, 30, 45 minutes or so, Ben Boyd from KMOX and I are going to get on some scooters and head down to the ballpark for all of the All-Star Game festivities today. So we got in yesterday morning, flew in at 6 a.m., left at 6 a.m. St. Louis time, got in around 7:15 or so. And we were lucky that everything kind of worked out as far as our scheduling went, with picking up the rental car, the flight, getting to the house we're staying at, and then getting down to the stadium, because yesterday was the Futures game. And as soon as we walked into Coors, right there was future Cardinal starter Matthew Liberatore, who started the Futures game yesterday. And we walked right up to him, and within 5 minutes, had some video and audio of him talking about his experience down in Memphis and some of the other things that have been going on in his life this year. I didn't realize that AAA was going with 6-game series this year. So they are playing Monday through Saturday, same team all 6 days, or I guess it's Tuesday through Sunday, off days on Monday, and just playing that all the way through, and then going on to the next one to cut down on some traveling. I had no idea.
Yeah, it's a little bit different than what we've been accustomed to. They've made some changes, and you're right. It has a lot to do with expenses, and you really, let's put it this way: you know who the other team is after a 6-game series. The travel, though, you don't really have an off day because you're going to leave right after the game on Sunday. You might get into that facility that night. But, man, the next day you're trying to recover. So it's a tough schedule. It's a tough way to make a living in the minors.
Yeah, and they're right back at it with this. He pitched in the game yesterday. Nolan Gorman played third in the game yesterday, made a nice play defensively at third. And they're already back this morning. They're heading back to Memphis or wherever the Red are playing this week. They don't even get to, you would think, I know they get to talk in spring training, but I would think you would want your future, the future of your organization, maybe to mingle just a little bit with the current players and kind of, rub elbows with them just for a few hours before you send them back to their organizations.
No, this is, the All-Star Game has its pluses, but, these guys are trying to develop, and, to stand around and play grab ass with a big leaguer who doesn't want to be there, I'm not sure is going to help anybody. and I say that only because, you have guys some guys are there to have fun, and some guys are there just because they have an incentive in their contract. And, maybe some guys just aren't in the mood for it. So, I mean, I won't say risky, but you know what? Let's get back to business. It's nice to have you here. Hopefully we'll see you here as a professional down the road.
That's, and you look at the list of names that are not going to be here today. Locally, Yadier Molina declined after he was named to the All-Star team. So he gets the recognition of being a 10-time All-Star, but will not be at the game today. I think most notable, though, are all 4 Houston Astros declined to go to the All-Star game. So none of them will be there from various reasons, as an injury or maybe a pregnancy. Their wife's pregnant, which I'm going to say, Claibs, I think they planned that out. I think they timed it out to be able to skip the All-Star break.
I don't know about that, but I just think timing worked out well for them. I mean, it's kind of a joke. And you know, I'm not the biggest proponent of the All Star Game like I used to be because the players have lost respect for it. You know, and obviously the Astros don't want to be part of it because of what they did. It just has a different appeal than what it used to. But you know, you make a good point. The Astros not being there is not a surprise. Everybody had a convenient excuse, but you know, it's something that it used to be an honor. Now it's just an incentive for a person for his contract, and you know, I wish they would do something about it. But you know, you look at some other sports, and guys are, you know, bitching and moaning because they don't make the team and they want to be there, and they still show up. Situation guys are like, nah, I got something else to do.
Yeah, and you know what? It's something you and I talked about a little bit earlier today as far as wanting to be there and the spectacle of it all. And you're still, I mean, we're going to head down there in about an hour from now, and it's the media availability. And I would think a guy like Alex Reyes is, you know, he has it. I would think he's excited about being there for all the ups and downs that he's had in his career. He made the All-Star team as a closer. His first All-Star appearance. Guys like that, I'm sure, are thrilled to be there. And when you also look at a guy like Alex Reyes, he's a guy that, you know, he might not get in the game tomorrow, but still, it's a huge progression in his career to be there.
I don't think there's any question about where Alex Reyes was expected to be and then where he started to where he's at now. And he and I had this conversation the other day that, you know, he went into spring training looking to get into the starting rotation. Well, that didn't work. And they said, well, how about being a reliever? Well, okay, we're going to try and get you 100 innings so you'll be ready for next year. Yeah, okay. Hey, Alex, by the way, you're going to the All-Star game as a reliever, huh? And, you know, he had the numbers. He did everything required. And it's a great accomplishment for him. And I think he'll be back to another one, provided he doesn't get hurt or anything. But, you know, for the young guys, it's a real honor and a real treat. And it's still for like a guy like Nolan Arenado, I talked to about it as well. He still gets a kick out of it. But these are guys who want to play every day, you know, and Yachty wants to play every day. But, you know, Yachty was smart enough to say, hey, look, I got a bad foot. Been playing on it for a while. My birthday's on that day, and I'm going to have a hell of a party in San Juan or in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, as you know, and I would think too. And right now, the Cardinals, the playoffs are kind of a hope right now in St. Louis, a distant hope. And if this is his last year, if this is the last time that we see Yachty and Wainwright before they retire, I mean, both of those guys want to go out with a postseason appearance. So I could see his reasoning for doing that. I wonder if the Cardinals were in first place right now and had a secure, you know, 2-3 game lead, if Yachty would have pushed it and would have gone.
I don't think so. I think when you have a foot, that's a little bit different than an ouchie or a boo-boo. I think this would have been good for him no matter what the standings look like. So I'm good with it.
So that's what we'll have later today. We'll have video and audio up on claibsonline.com. Keep checking claibsonline.com because we're going to keep putting stuff up there all week long here from the All-Star Game as we sit here right now, powered by Ameren, Illinois. Hey, Ameren, Illinois has energy efficient programs. Go to AmerenIllinoisSavings.com and you can see if you're for your home or your business, they have options there for you to find out how to save on those energy bills while living comfortable and helping save lives. It's AmerenIllinoisSavings.com is the website, and we are powered each and every day by Ameren, Illinois. And speaking of power, Claibs, that's a professional way to go right into it. The home run derby tonight. As you are not a fan of the home run derby, I cannot wait for tonight's home run derby.
Well, good. Then we both are happy. I mean, you know what? Here's my thing on the home run derby. You know, it was a nice idea. But, you know, the home run derby is like asking them to lower the rim for the slam dunk contest. Okay. I just think that they've gimmicked it up too much to the point where I can't take it serious. I mean, you're using loaded balls. They've already acknowledged that. You're playing at altitude, and nobody's talking about maybe a guy's got a loaded bat too, because that rumor is starting to circulate that there's certain guys are going to have a loaded bat.
Tonight,
so,
you're talking about in the season, or
no,
you just
tonight.
talking about tonight?
Tonight.
Okay.
Yeah. So, for the casual fan to sit there and watch guys hit balls, 500 feet, okay, that's great. But they're not doing it under the auspices of what the league or what the game would be prescribed by. And so, it's a gimmick. It's one that I probably don't agree with. But you know what? There'll be enough people there that'll be happy, and that's fine with me.
For anybody that's watching us right now, listening to us right now, I want to tell you this. One of the things to look for tonight, they have the auxiliary press box. Now, Claibs, my seat tonight, I'm in foul territory. I am foul side of the pole, but I am still about 450 feet away. I mean, it will be a laser out to us in the auxiliary press box. Somebody is going home tonight with a broken laptop. One of the writers that is out there is going to be sitting there live tweeting, writing notes, getting their story ready to go. And Joey Gallo or Shohei Ohtani is just going to hit a laser right at their MacBook and just shatter it. It's going to happen.
Want to bet? You want to bet? You want to make a wager on that?
That yes, I will make a wager on that. We'll
you
come
make
up
it
with
easy
something.
on yourself. Make it easy on yourself. I predict it won't happen.
Okay, we'll come up with something. I'm waiting to see, because you know what? You can bet on sports here in Colorado.
You can do a lot of things in Colorado.
That's true. But you could bet on sports there. I'm waiting to see if I'm going to be able to throw any money down on the Derby tonight. So when you look at this and you handicap it, Claibs, who do you look for to? I mean, is it going to be the Shohei Ohtani show tonight, or
that's what they like to have? That's what they like to have. But again, I'm not a guy who cares about it. So for me to handicap it wouldn't be doing justice. The ball carries into right center field there really well, and it carries down the left field line. Dead center, but it'll be fun for those who think that's a cool thing. I couldn't handicap it because, the other thing is I don't see enough of the American League guys that are participating. I've never seen Ohtani in person. I've seen Gallo twice. Half the other guy. I've seen the third. Who's the guy from Oakland?
It is. So the field tonight is Shohei Ohtani, Joey Gallo, Pete Alonso, Trevor Story, Matt Olson, Juan Soto, Salvador Perez, and Trey Mancini.
Okay, the only two I haven't seen are Ohtani and Gallo. Well, I've seen Gallo. So Ohtani's the only one I haven't seen play.
You seen Trey Mancini?
Yeah.
Okay.
We see him every year in spring training.
Oh,
we saw him. We were over in Baltimore a couple of years ago. He's a good player. I mean, I never imagined him being this alleged power hitter that, puts him in this position. Yeah. But, I think he had a lot of guys that walked away from it. I think he had more guys that walked away from it that committed to it.
I'm very surprised that a Cardinal didn't make it. And I wonder if it's Tyler O'Neill's injury that made him not want to do it or not get asked to do it. But I know Nolan Arenado was asked to be a part of it. And did you talk to him about turning that down?
Yeah. You know what? There's just too much going on with him. And I think that, the guys who win this thing and participate in it traditionally don't have strong second halves for whatever reason. And I just think that with everything that's going on in Nolan Arenado's life, especially going back to Colorado, he's got enough going on. He just wants to go in, play the game, be introduced, and get the hell out of there.
Yesterday, I had a chance to talk with Nolan Gorman, and I asked him about Shohei Ohtani after he took batting practice, and here's what he had to say.
After hearing he doesn't hit batting practice and him doing what he's done this year, it's a little confusing. And honestly, we'll see how he does in a batting practice event as the home run derby. But I don't see him having too much of a hard time getting the ball out here. And I would like to see one in the third deck for him.
I was going to ask, you kind of look around at a stadium like this and wonder just where he could put the ball?
Yeah, I mean, for sure there's a lot of spots. Obviously, he can go the other way. He can pull it and hit it center. So there's a couple spots that'll be interesting to see where some of those guys can hit it. There's a lot of guys with some big power.
That was Nolan Gorman yesterday. We also talked about him playing second base down in Memphis, and he was talking about the struggles of playing with a bigger bag. They have they're playing with a larger base down there, talking about the difference between running the bases and also turning double plays at second base. All of that will be up online at claibsonline.com later this afternoon. So stuff to look for that. By the way, if you're wondering, the amount of home runs tonight, 265 is the over-under.
How many pitches do they get? I guess
they don't. It's not pitches anymore. They get
on a clock.
You get 4 minutes, and then if you hit 2 balls over 440 feet, you get an extra 30 seconds added on to the end.
See what I mean about gimmick?
It's better than Damian Easley, getting 10 pitches and popping out all 10. I mean, going 0 for 10, right?
Again, I think the whole thing is it just doesn't have the luster. I mean, and I know people will watch it, but I guarantee you most people who are in this business who aren't there working are going to move on and do something else because it's fantasy.
I hear your dislike of this event and how much I enjoy it. And it also reminds me of our feelings on traveling to events like this in general with where we both are in our lives. And yesterday I saw our friend Jen Langosh of MLB.com, and she asked me if you were going to be making your way out to Denver for the All Star Game, and I started to laugh. So,
my philosophy on that. And it's nothing against the All Star Game, okay? But asking me to go to an All Star Game just to go and not work is like asking a mailman to take a walk on his day off.
So as we move past everything that'll happen today and tomorrow here in Denver, Cardinals restart their season again on Friday. Claibs, they just went on their longest road trip of the season, and they took you with, and you got to now experience this team up close and personal on the road. It didn't start off great in Denver, got a little better in San Francisco, and then they split the series with the Cubs this weekend before yesterday's rainout. Tell me, with how you have been close to the team these past 2 weeks, what you see out of them mentally, and before we talk about what to expect out of them in the second half.
Well, I still see the commitment. I still see the focus. I still see the professionalism where they haven't given up. I mean, we've seen some teams in Chicago, the Cubs, to me, have just, that, and I understand why, because the rumors about trades, the team isn't very good as far as pitching is concerned. So they got a lot of distractions. On the other side of that coin, I think that with the Cardinals, you have enough guys in that clubhouse who are going to say, hey, why not us? Why not us? But they all know, and I'll start with Yachty. And when I talked to him the other day, he said, wait, we got to be better. We got to be better in certain areas. And he says, when I mean we, I mean all of us, because it's not just our pitching, it's not just our hitting. We all have to be better as far as what we do, which goes back to my original point. If you just do your job as a player, if you just do your job, you're going to be okay. And I think that's where they're at right now. But they got some work to do. And you know what? They're going to need some help. Okay. The winning players on this ball club are playing somewhere else right now. I just don't think we have enough. I was just about to ask, we've seen the relief, we've seen the Wade LeBlanc, the Brandon Waddell, the kid they just signed in Chicago this past weekend. We've seen those moves that they've made to try to revamp this pitching staff and find new arms to throw out of the bullpen. Those aren't big moves. Those aren't at all. No.
Is there going to be a big move, a big shakeup?
That's a question only John Mozeliak knows the answer to. Yeah, they need it. how they get it, I don't know, because I think you have teams, you have a huge difference between in three categories. You have San Francisco Dodgers, Padres. Those teams are going to be okay. And then you've got another tier of players and teams that are trying to find their way, whether it's the Mets, whether it's the Cardinals, whether it's the Brewers, whether it's some other team that I'm not thinking of right now. And they're all trying to figure out, are we buyers or sellers? And I think the issue with the Cardinals is I don't think they have enough to be sellers. I mean, think about what guy would you be willing to move that's going to make you better for next year? I mean, because I'm talking about getting a legitimate player back. I'm not talking about a nice AA prospect. You want to win next year, you better get players for next year. So if you're going to do that, what are you willing to move? And also, if you're a seller, what do you think you can get some legitimate value for?
Yeah, and I mean the names that are out there, I don't know if we are aware of all the names that are out there yet that can be traded for, and where the Cardinals are in the standings. You look at that, that's not a team that's a buyer now.
And here's the other thing. This team needs pitching, right? I'm a little concerned of what I see in certain guys now that the foreign substance issue has been addressed. And there's some guys that haven't been as effective as we thought they would be. So you have to be careful on that front too. So there are a lot of things that still need to be hashed out before you make a commitment one way or the other. But I think in order to get this team moving in the right direction, I think you as an organization, you have to send a message that we think we can win, and here's why, and we're going to bring this person in to help us. Just to say, well, you know what, you guys do what you can. I don't think that's acceptable to a lot of people. So it's going to be something that they're going to have to make a decision on, and they need to make it sooner than later, because as we get closer to the deadline, you just may not have as many people that you think are going to be there as you thought. So there's a lot of things that I'm sure that they're talking about now over the course of this week before the season resumes on what direction they want to go. They're not going to have Flaherty back until August, at least. They're not going to have Michaelis back before then either. So if you think you can slip and slide with the current rotation without Oviedo, and he may be coming back, obviously, with the All Star break, but Wade LeBlanc is giving you everything you'd hope for. KK's pitching better. Wainwright's been your best pitcher, but at some point you got to find some legitimate firepower. Carlos probably has pitched his last game. He's on a 60-day. And so you got to find someone to fill that void also. And you just can't find these 4A guys on a regular basis. I think LeBlanc's been good. I mean, he's giving you just what you wanted or you'd hope for. But, how long is that going to last? So there's a lot of work to be done. And if you want to be a buyer, I mean, if you want to really be a competitive player or competitive team, you got to make some moves.
Yeah, no, you're right. So do want to remind people before we get off the baseball stuff, we'll have a lot of content going up on the YouTube page. Go to YouTube, search Claibs Online. We will be putting stuff up there along with all the audio stuff that you can find each and every day at claibsonline.com. We will be back right after this.
St. Louis Acura has an unbeatable selection of new cars, like 75 new TLX models with $2,500 in loyalty conquest offers and 0.9% financing for up to 60 months. We have all new 22 MDXs arriving daily with $1,000 in loyalty conquest offers, or lease the 21 Acura ILX as low as $239 per month for 36 months, or 21 Acura RDX for as little as $409 for 36 months. St. Louis Acura, better than ever for you.
And Claibs, before we wrap things up here on this Monday, do want to get off to the other things going on. We saw the Tampa Bay Lightning win their back-to-back Stanley Cup last week. Pat Maroon wins his third in a row. And then you have the NBA Finals in full swing, and the Milwaukee Bucks made it a series yesterday by finally winning the game and showing up.
Where would you like to start? Let's start off on the back end with Tampa Bay. Best team. I thought we'd see Tampa and Vegas, but the Montreal Canadiens battle, they just didn't have enough. Tampa's a really, really good hockey team. They're going to have some cap issues to address, but they may be like, if they do anything like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did, they had players that say, hey, you know what? I kind of like it here. Let's find something that's fair. It doesn't have to be the biggest, but let's find something that gives us a chance to win 3 in a row. They've got some good young talent that they can move up. I think they're going to be around for a while. They've got solid goaltending and they've got a good organization. So I think Tampa is going to be a very competitive team for at least another 2, perhaps 3 years. NBA, yeah, you never have a series until you figure out who wins game 3. And if, now Milwaukee feels like they're back in it, this series may go 6. I think we're going to see a different Arizona team, a different Phoenix team. They'll make some adjustments. I'm really impressed with both teams and how they're adjusting and trying to create isolation issues defensively and offensively, and how they're going to counter. In this day and age with analytics and all the scouting that takes place, there's nothing the other guy does that you're going to be surprised by. So we'll see who can make the most adjustments. And I think the benches are going to have to be more in play as well. I mean, you saw Cam Johnson. He came out and that dunk he threw down last night is one for the book as far as the finals are concerned. So it's still a lot more basketball to be played.
Claibs, I know it's an off week for you until Friday, but you do have one more piece of work that you're going to do for Claibs Online before then. Tell the folks about that.
Jackie joining Kersey. The Olympics are just around the corner, so Dr. Rick and I are going to have a podcast featuring Jackie, talking a little bit about, obviously, the Olympics itself, the injury factor, and all the things you do in preparation. Now, Jackie's been away from the track as a competitor, but she still understands what the commitment is as well as anyone. The most decorated female athlete we're going to see in a long time. So I'm looking forward to talking to her.
Awesome. And if people haven't had a chance to listen to it yet, go back to this past weekend's Weekend Joe. Had a very nice talk with Jeremy Rutherford.
Yeah,
for all of
really
the
nice job.
Yeah, all the Blues stuff going on, Tarasenko and with the expansion draft. And then he talks a little Pat Maroon at the end too. And then if you're a fan of the Big Three, the basketball league, I had Amy Trask on this weekend too. So those are 2 things to go back and check out, along with everything we are going to be putting up each and every day here from Denver this weekend or this week from the All Star Game. If you're not like Claibs and you actually enjoy this stuff, go check it out on claibsonline.com or on the YouTube page.
I'm going to follow what you guys do. I just have no interest in the events. And there is one thing about the All Star Game I still appreciate. The introductions. And nothing stands out more than that Cardinal uniform. Okay. I mean, I know the Yankees, obviously, because of their tradition, but the way that Cardinal uniform stands out compared to some other teams is something I always look forward to.
You can find the replay of this show on YouTube, the Claibs Online YouTube page. Also, Spotify, Google, and iTunes, wherever you get podcasts, they will be right there for you. Everything Claibs Online. You want it, we got it for you right here. This has been the Lunch Show here on ClaibsOnline.com, powered by Ameren, Illinois, driven by Munganast St. Louis Acura, and sponsored by our guy, Ryan Kelly, the home loan expert. Find him online at thehomeloanexpert.com. He's Mike Claiborne. I'm Joe Roderick. We'll talk to you later.